everything. Oh, that's my boy! Wimp.
I don't know why, but something is wrong.
Rule Britannia!
The TV is crazy and the truth has gone. I might be crazy, but I think we're done. There are people out there who are adverse to fun.
Communism is king.
It's on your news. Even your neighbor has been here. You can see it on YouTube. It's time to shine a light on all the things they don't want you. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next.
Commander Worf, don't be a cunt.
I'm having such a good time.
Kill everyone on the bridge.
Having a ball.
Fuck you, Mr. Rascal.
My name is Owen Jones, a renowned drama queen, pseudo-intellectual and champagne socialist.
That's for B4.
What can I do? People know love the truth.
Shut the fuck up.
It's true. That's why we gotta shine a light. Oh, shine a light, shine a light. We gotta shine a light. Oh, yeah. Together forever. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. Oh, it's what's coming next. Tom Generation Next. Yeah. Tom Generation Next. Be on it, your channel. Zero news to now. Tom Generation Next. It's gonna shine a light. Generation X.
Yo, Tom Fury Zero News. That was a terrible camera angle, wasn't it? Tom Fury Zero News. I am here with you to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm sorry for presenting this to you at the last minute, but tomorrow has kind of jumped up on me because I knew about the date, but there's a lot that's happened since. So tomorrow I'm going to be in Southampton live at Highfield Hotel. I think it's Highfield Hotel tomorrow. I'm getting all the information quite late, but there was two demos in Southampton this week. One yesterday. Yeah, one yesterday and one on Monday and Sunday, sorry. And bear in mind the one we had in Southampton that was huge. Yeah, everybody came down from all different parts of the country, absolutely huge. What they're reporting now is there's two demos. There's a counter protest. There's always a counter protest. The lefties never do a protest about anything because they don't have anything to protest about. The only thing they have to protest about is us. So in Southampton tomorrow, they're going to be doing another counter protest to the protests because they don't have anything to fight for. So it's Stand Up to Racism again. This Stand Up to Racism, which is a charity group and does things for the good of people, how is it that Stand Up to Racism has a division on every single place in every single part of Britain? Do you believe that's because they are all in solidarity against racism? Or do you believe it's because they're all on the bunts? Yeah, do you think it's all because there's a bit of bunts to be made from weaponising racism and weaponising the Stand Up for Racism name, which now counts for a lefty haven? It's for the bunts, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you've got Stand Up for Racism Facebook groups in every single part of the country. The bunts. That's all it's about. And I've seen other groups like Stand Up to Racism, Hope Not Hate. Hope Not Hate. I've seen loads of online sites that they do that call themselves charities. And they say we're going to fight for the underprivileged and everything else. But what they don't say is those charities then spend money on demonstrations and nothing on the people who they claim are affected. They never are for the people who were affected. So hi Getter and hi to everybody. I hope we're getting out. Signal can be a bit dodgy from this phone, but when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. So I'm going to make this hoping it's not jumping around. So we'll just have to see. But in fact, if I put it over here, this tends to be where it gets the best signal. So hopefully it won't jump around. So as I said, Stand Up to Racism, do this. and the same as Hope Not Hate. They put themselves over as charities. What they actually are is hate groups. It's in the name. And they use the funding that people think are going to charity and it is going to charity. It's the charity of violence. It's the charity of them going on the streets and organising counter-protests because they've got nothing to protest of their own. Look at the last protest the left did in Southampton that wasn't a counter-protest. Look at around the country that any of the protests they've done that wasn't a counter-protest. They tried protesting by themselves, and what did they do? Extinction Rebellion, things like that. They were hated by the public. Hated by the public. So they don't do demonstrations anymore because they're hated. So, funny that, because they like to talk about hate a lot. Hate and racism. So two big things they throw at people, and it's just like, it's so useless now. Let's just have a look at the Stand Up to Racism Portsmouth post. Solidarity with our friends in Southampton who are standing up to two far-right events, events in their city this weekend. Here's what they say. On February 27th, the Southampton Patriots will once again assemble outside the Highfield House. That's the one from 27th, yeah? Repeating the same pattern of division, scapegoating, that they have pursued since last summer. Last Friday, their dwindling numbers, right? Bear in mind, these people have different amounts turning up at different times, but where was the dwindling numbers when Vindicator came down and the left had to hide on top of a bridge with bottles of piss because their numbers were nowhere to be seen? Dwindling numbers. They have 2 universities in Southampton full of leftists. So the gun is preloaded in their favour. It's a twin university town. And when one university I know this for a fact, when one university gets tipped off about information, they instantly put it over. They've got a whole network about the Patriots in Southampton. So the Patriots in Southampton are up against it and still holding their own. Which is why when they lose, they send the Muslims out to attack people. So it says on Sunday, 1st of March, which is where I'll be, they are attempting their first march of the year, seeking to push Portswood and Beavers Valley, two of the most diverse, vibrant community. These were the communities, by the way, that stayed indoors and didn't want us walking down the streets because they were frightened of, what was it? They were frightened of racism, or they were frightened of us. And it was like, well, nobody in that group of people was racist. The very fact that they were frightened to go out is their racism. That was their problem. Nobody was there to abuse anybody that lived there and had a certain colour of skin or had a certain religion. Nobody. They wanted to march because it was the place they wanted to march. Nobody had that in mind. The preconceived notions of the people that and there was probably not that many who complained. They're encouraged to. But the preconceived notions of some of the people that complained were that white people were inherently racist, which is a racist thing to say. So their preconceived notions of someone based on their colour of skin is racism. So because there was white people as well as other coloured people there, which they didn't mention, the preconceived notion is they're white, so they're against us. Now who's been feeding them that trash? The mainstream media? And these fucking idiots. They're talking about division while sowing division themselves. Because if they listen to a word the Southampton Patriots or myself say, we're not against people with different colour skin. Nobody is trying to intimidate a community. Nobody's trying to intimidate a community. The division is caused by people like this saying, oh, they're only there because they're racist. They want to frighten the people living there. That actually does frighten the people living there because they've said it. Because people trust them. Nobody's got any harm ever intended on the people living there. So when they do this, they're frightening their own people in order to get this visceral reaction so that people will come out on the streets, call us all these terrible names because they're frightened because they really believe the bullshit that people are selling them. So we'll be going tomorrow to Southampton on this march. I hate marches, but because of my walking, but on this march, and I will cover it. Not as part of the Southampton Patriots, not as this or that, as a guy. This is my hometown, and I'm going to just show what happens. I'm just going to show who's there, what happens. This is a story happened in my own town, my hometown, I should say, and they want to create a a narrative of us being divisive, racist, all this other stuff? Well, let's see that in action, shall we? Let's go and have a look and put it in action. It is an interesting thing. So, as far as I'm aware, let's just have a look. Yeah, so our march starts. They always like to get there half an hour early before our marches. So what they're trying to say in their post, by the way, is that they will not tolerate us. Now, this is the real kicker. They won't tolerate us. The tolerant liberals won't tolerate us. They use racism as an excuse, even though there is none. They've just admitted it without saying it in so many words. They won't tolerate patriots. They won't tolerate patriots. They won't tolerate people that love their flag. They won't tolerate people that have communities. None of us are against black people or anything else. They have to sow that narrative because they're seeing more and more black people and other ethnic groups join us because they realise that we're about community. So, and what we're against is the illegal immigration that is wrecking the place and has been wrecking the place for years. Those people need to go, and anybody else that is here for trouble needs to go. So, but they've tried to create, as usual, their counter narrative. That's all they do, is they counter. They never throw a punch, they only ever counter, because they've got nothing to defend. So, we'll go and see them, we'll go and listen to their arguments, if they've got any, which is usually a one-sentence argument, followed by racist, and then nothing else. So, let's just have another look, before I, hang on. So, there was something else I saw. Right, March, yeah. So, this is how they're framing it. Let me show you from here, look. A march to celebrate Southampton's diversity. How in this day and age would you have the front to still be celebrating diversity? What does diversity really mean? Diversity in our country has proved to mean people coming here from different backgrounds, rejecting the British culture and injecting their own culture, raping kids, not all of them, hurting people, stealing from people, reverting to type, and making people... They're talking about people feeling unsafe due to a police-sanctioned demo, as opposed to these people creeping around all night and day, sexual crime rates well over 1,200% up rating since they've been around. People are frightened. The people who've been living there their whole lives and paying taxes and working there their whole lives, they're the ones who are frightened. And they put these people right in the middle of everybody. And these wonderful Southampton University students, the same ones, by the way, that wanted to paint over the World War I murals, which those World War I murals are not there to glorify war. They were made to show all the people that could have gone on to be students and achieve something else in life that went to war to lose their life for this country. They wanted to paint over that. So that just shows you the people we're dealing with. Twin University Place, right? So they want to come tomorrow to shut us down because they won't tolerate us, and they keep hiding behind. Look at this. Look at this. I'm sorry for doing this. I haven't got the studio up. Stop pretending your racism is patriotism. One with a mask on. This is what we're up against. So. Patriotism is, they're going to try and turn patriotism into a rude word, the same way as they tried to make this into something evil, when this is our history. This is who we are, right? And there's nothing wrong with it. Every other country around the world's got one of these. But for some reason, we're made to feel like colonialists for it. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. We'll be there, and I'll be reporting on whatever happens, and if these people behave the way they can, I'll be there to capture it. Same for our side, by the way, but our side usually behaves themselves, so I'll be there to capture it. When they step into someone's space, call them racist, when they try and antagonise for a fight and then go bleating to the police, if that happens, I'll be there. Same as when I was in Southampton and I saw them all trying to do an end run round to attack our people. I'll be there to catch that too. So, and all audits will be there as well. So there'll be no easy victories. If they want to hurt someone, they're going to have to really try. Don't forget, these are the same people that down south have ridden electric bikes into groups of people, ridden a normal bike into a group of people, and have lobbed bottles and bricks into groups of people. Same groups. They're like, that's Portsmouth group they're talking, who attached the Southampton group. They come from all over and they attack, like I say, with weapons from afar. Never will face you out face to face, by the way. Never will face you out face to face, because they get knocked out and they know it, right? Because a lot of them are just little shits or old men that like to call you racist as they're walking by, and then when you say, "Excuse me, would you like to qualify that?" No, you're racist. So I'm not going to get into all that, by the way. I'm not there to provoke. I'm there to cover it. But what I can tell you from covering these stories is, a lot of the time, just by having a camera, you'll get called racist. So if it happens, I will challenge it. Or I'll just let it play out and let you make up your own minds. So I'll be there. The event, I think, starts around 1 o'clock. I'll probably go live around 12-ish, maybe a bit, because they're going to be around about 12:30. So they're going to be making the biggest noise before we start, trying to intimidate us before we start. See, I've seen leftist demos try and get going when we're there before them, which is very rarely. But when they try and get started, they all get on the microphone. They're all really timid at first. We don't do that. We just come out as we mean to continue. So the idea, I think, is that they think that we're like them. So they come out half an hour early to try and intimidate. It doesn't work. In fact, it actually gives us a chance to walk straight in the middle of them before people know what's going on. I've done it last two. Walked straight in the middle of them and nobody even noticed. So we can all play silly games. But they're saying at the end of this article here, Southampton is stronger than hate. These people are driving hatred. These people are dividing the communities. These people are turning on their own for socialist values. And they are doing it for people that would put the knife in their back as look at them. Literally have put the knives in their backs. Students in their own universities have knifed other students for reasons of immigration, as in wanting to get back to their original country, or other crazy reasons that you wouldn't believe unless you saw it. So they're defending those people over their fellow Brits. Even though we have not said, oh, we want to get rid of everybody with different colour skin or different colour religion. All we've said is, this is getting out of hand. Why have we got this fucking hotel in the middle of here? We've had 3 hotels at maximum here, and they were all pumping people out, and the rapes were going up, the offences against women were going up, the offences against people were going up, even male people were being attacked with knives and everything else. We didn't have that before. So what's going on? And the left, like I say, twin university town, who've got that stranglehold, have frightened the local population into thinking that anybody that stands against rape, that stands against child molestation, that stands against illegal immigration, that stands against hotels being plonked people being plonked in the hotels in the middle of the busiest area of Southampton in terms of shopping and other things. That's not racist, that's self-preservation. So they can make they love to make all these virtue signalling things, these statements. But let's see if they stand up to that. Because if they really believed what they say, 1, they wouldn't be violent. 2, they would make good arguments. 3, they would be all aligned with each other and making the same coherent argument. Because we would be in the wrong, they would be in the right. So let's test that theory and go tomorrow and see if they turn up like a group of people, professional, ready to make a serious point, or whether they turn up like a fucking rabble looking for a good time and an argument. We'll see, won't we? And I've got no way of knowing what's going to happen before I go, although I have my suspicions. We will see who's there for what reason. Same as the other side, same as the Patriots. If any of them are there for the wrong reason, it'll show. But I'll tell you what, they're not. Because they don't get paid for this. They have to give up their time to go and do this. The people in the colleges, this is either a hobby or they get paid or both. So there's a difference when you're fighting for your homeland versus fighting for your paycheck. Julius Caesar and Pompey found this out the hard way, or Pompey found it out the hard way. When you're fighting for a wage as opposed to survival, you lose. So, yeah, let's go and see what they do. So I'll be going, as I said, I might do something in the morning, but I'll be going live maybe about 12ish. We'll see. And again, I'm not going to go and poke or provoke, but I'm also not a carpet. So we'll see what happens. But I'm there to just show the reality of what's happening in the streets of Southampton. Again, so that for another time you can see what Southampton isn't, over the lie that you keep being told that Southampton's a great place. When people come down and they go, oh, it doesn't look so bad, and it doesn't. But it's all under the surface. So again, you get to see, and what you're probably not going to see is you're probably not going to see a lot of black people. You're going to see a lot of white virtue signalling universities coming out. I could be wrong about that. Let's see. But my guess is you're going to see more white people than any other colour on their side. And if I'm right about that, that will be up to my suspicions. And that is just like when we had Black Lives Matter, where you got more virtue signalling white people speaking for black people than black people have actually asked for. So let's see what the demographic of black people on their side is. Because if it's over like 50% black people, maybe there's a point, maybe they got a point. But if there's under 50% or under 15%, I think we could definitely say they're virtue signalling. So let's go find out. I don't know what the answer will be. Let's go find out. And like I say, if there's just a bunch of white people with a couple of black people there, what are you doing? You're doing the same crime again. You're speaking for black people again. You're speaking for and calling other people racist on black people's behalf again. You've learned nothing. You're still speaking for black people instead of with them. And that makes you worse than any of us. Because none of us would dare presume to do that. So we'll see. We'll see. Under 5%, says Steve. And I agree. It probably will be. Even if they see this video and they bump it up a bit, they might get up to 7%. Again, we could be wrong. Because there is a diverse mix in Southampton. But let's see. Because they're talking about how the dwindling numbers of our side. Especially if we've got a big one tomorrow. But I wouldn't be surprised if the numbers weren't that big. It's not always about numbers. But I'd be very interested to see the demographics their side. Because again, the reason this is important, when Black Lives Matter came over here and tried to reinstall race arguments that hadn't existed here for years, something happened, and that is that black people I spoke to were enraged that mostly white people were going around pulling down statues in the name of Black Lives Matter. And there's a lot of black people that were enraged by it. A lot of people don't realise there's a lot of black people who are conservatives. And I was taught this a long time ago. A lot of black people said to me, you do realise a lot of us are conservative, right, don't you? And I was like, no. And they're like, yeah, we tend to be more conservative than not. And and they are. So you can't speak for other races and other people. This is what they try and do. So again, the demographics will prove if it's a middle-class white crusader mission trying to demonise us for being there because it's, again, what they get paid for on a night out, or whether there's genuine people there with a genuine issue. I think we know the one thing that we're going to encounter, and that's a bunch of very, very overprivileged people. It's not cheap to get them in those universities over there now. So expect the overprivileged who are drinking their first bit of alcohol and feeling hard for the first time because they've never had a fight. So you'll see that tomorrow, and you'll see the emboldened nature of what happens if they choose to consume alcohol, which a lot of them do because they're around the university and then get back without trouble. You'll see them become emboldened. My hope is that there's no trouble or anything like that, but it always is. Because I don't want to see that for anybody. But if they choose to incriminate themselves, so be it. But I won't be provoking anything. That's not what I do. I will be there to report. If anybody wants to talk, they can talk. If anybody wants an interview, they can be interviewed. If anybody wants to get their leftist side over, they're welcome to. I won't even interrupt. If anybody wants to get their right-wing opinion, fine. That's what we do. But if anybody wants to try and roll over me, good luck. Good luck. That's all I will say. I will stand my ground just the same as everybody else, like I always have done, always will do. So it's their choice. I can hold out a mic and say, what do you think? Or they can try and push me about and I can level them. Their choice. I don't like the second option, but I've had to do it before. My hope is that, like, I've been to some demos in London where leftists actually came over and talked to me, and we had some really good conversations where at the end of it we all said we would agree to think about what each other had said. That was one of the best conversations I've ever had, because we were actually talking for the sake of trying to make ground. Rare? It's rare, but it does happen. And I really, really respected that group of young people. You don't get that with the older people. The teachers and that, they are like lunatics. They won't listen to a word you say. They're scared to listen to a word you say because it might make sense. But some of the younger people, when they haven't got alcohol in them, some of them will start with an attitude, and then as they hear you speak, they realise you sound like Joe from down the road. And that surprises them. You can see them like, oh, that's not what I thought. And that's often when you get a really good conversation. My hope is that I get a really good conversation with someone on the other side tomorrow. The realism is that it's probably happened 1 in every 10 demos. So I'm not super confident. My hope is that someone will come and explain their side of it without using terms like racist and bigot and all that every 5 seconds. If we could do that, that would be a start, because we could at least understand where they're coming from and try and dispel some of their... But it won't happen. But I've got to stay open. I've got to keep it as a possibility, because there's always a chance. Oh, fuck. Someone's trying to ring me. 1 second. Hey, Dave. Hey, Steve. Good to see you guys. Yeah, I think under 5% as well. It's very overprivileged young people on 18 to 22 sabbatical. Yeah. Drinking and shagging holiday. Now, that is what's going on, right? Exactly. Especially also many in those expensive student accommodations. Yeah, and these student accommodations there. So you've got one university one side, one university the other side, and these accommodations just go on and on and on. They're huge. They're huge. These are really overprivileged people, and I don't begrudge them being in those places, but it's the fact that they come out and then have a worldview that's based on living at home with mum and dad and having loads of money, and then moving into this place with loads of money and not having to live in the real world. And then they've got a worldview that's where they can get to call other people racist. I don't think so. I don't think so. You haven't fucking lived in the world. I'd like to see them get raped by... I wouldn't like to see it. I'd like, metaphorically, to see one of them raped by one of these people and then see if they still want to carry on with this politics. I wouldn't want to see anybody raped, right? Don't get that twisted. But my point being is, in a metaphorical world, what would you do then? Would you still stick up for these people? Some would. Some fucking would. But I think most people would get a total culture shock at that moment. But it would be too late. This is what bothers me about these people, is they stand on their high horse and they don't realise it would be the right, the so-called racist patriots, that will be protecting them from a rape one night. If we walk down the street one night, do you think a lefty's going to go and help him? If he hears someone in trouble, who's likely to be the guy going running? Us. Us, the people they hate so much, are the people most likely to go and help them out of that situation. Isn't that crazy? That's the problem with the polarisation. There's no middle ground. No, you're right. There is no middle ground. And this centrist politics is not the middle ground, because it's, again, centrist politics. It's a bit like far right and far left. They're not linear. This idea that centrist politics is the middle, no, it's not. So you're right. That polarisation, I think I did a thing on this a little while back. The polarisation has now got to a stage where you cannot depolarize it. It's self-sustaining now. So there is no middle ground. That polarisation is only going to get worse. Google are now openly monetizing that. So they're producing content for the left and the right that encourages both of their confirmation biases. So they're all actively, even the videos you see on YouTube, they're all actively trying to divide us more. And it works. That's why you've got people now with Candace Owens having a mental breakdown, and they're all going, don't you dare criticise anything she says. It works because the confirmation bias has been fed and fed and fed and fed and fed. That's why people like me are here. I may not have the biggest channel or anything else, but I don't have the confirmation bias. I don't have, and when I do, like say with Gene, I have the wherewithal to go, Jesus Christ, I'm compromised. Do you know what I mean? These people never think like that. But like two others I could think of who just cannot be contritious. Contritious? Is that the right word? Anyway, they cannot show contrition. So, and these people are the same. It's funny that, isn't it? But these people are the same. So I hope when I go over there tomorrow, I see something different. And I don't mean violent. I mean, I hope I see something different. I hope I see some people willing to speak without just the insults. But I've got to be honest with you, I'm not hopeful, because Southampton and Portsmouth were where I met some of the most undesirable people. Bar one guy. There was one really nice young fellow from the left who I was horrible to, and then I apologised to because I realised that he was actually just there having a good time and he meant no harm to nobody. I felt really bad for it. I felt like a right mean bastard. So I apologised to him both on and off camera for that. Beyond that, the rest of them were horrible. They were really, really horrible. I think it's because they were so horrible, I sort of took it out on him thinking he was the same. He wasn't. He was the only person there that was alright. Yeah, we had different opinions, but he was actually a really nice kid. Even though he was on the left, he was a nice kid. So I'm hoping we might meet some more people like that, because I think he would have come and spoke. But no, I don't think. He already said he would. People like him would have come and spoke. We could have sat down and perhaps had a conversation. That would be awesome if that came out of it. But that's not going to come out of the Screaming Teachers. So again, March 1st, tomorrow, 1 PM is the official start time. March in Southampton. Some people say it's going to be a big one. I don't know, because it's been planned for a long time. But as I said, their counter-protests may raise the numbers. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they can keep it in their pants. If they can't, I'll be ready with the camera to watch their behaviour. So one way or the other, if the left acts like the violent left they can be, I'll catch it. And by the way, the camera doesn't get stopped unless I tell you it's getting stopped. The camera doesn't get pointed in a way where you don't see our side committing atrocities. The camera just goes. So whatever happens, happens. And that's what's so beautiful about what I do, is that you can look at it and it's just the truth. And so if anybody acts out, that's totally on them. There's no excuse. There's no, oh, what you didn't see on camera, you saw it all. And I make sure of it. And if there's anything else to be explained, we go and find out. So that's the beauty of what I do. The camera rolls, the camera doesn't get edited, and therefore there's no excuses for the bad actors. That's what we do. So I'll see you tomorrow, say from 12 to 1 PM start time until the end of the march. Going live, going real, and just filming what's there. Not there to provoke, just there to record and there to report. And we'll see what happens. Back to the activism, back to the real stuff. This is what keeps us going. This is what we're about. And I've struggled with money and everything else recently, but with the weather getting better, me getting better, people have been saying to me recently, why are you so much happier recently? Just feeling it all coming back. And the summer's coming. I want to get out there and do some stuff. So I'm going to get out there and do some stuff. And again, keep proving these people for what they are. People need to see what these people are, so they don't get confused over who's right and who's wrong. There's no right and wrong. There's just simply people who are worried about their country, and people that are paid to do everything they can to destroy those other people. That's it. So one side's being paid to destroy people, the other side's just worried about his country. You decide what that means. Oh, let me just make sure I've covered everything. Yeah, absolutely about Sweden, by the way, Steve. Contrite, thank you. Thank you. God, I can't believe I got that word wrong. I'm so thick at times. Thanks, Steve. Contrite. Thank you, guys. See, you're my wordsmiths when I need you. Yeah, the people that think that the immigration is about, oh yeah, these people have come from war-torn areas. Well, let's say that was true. Why are they coming to England? An island that's overpopulated. You've got America, you've got Europe, you've got massive land masses everywhere around the world. We're not an empire anymore. So why bring them here in a country that's already decimated? For a start. Secondly, no, they're not all coming from war-torn places. Actually, a lot of them are buying their way onto these boats because admittedly they're promised all this crazy stuff. Some of it's not so crazy because some of it's true, like NHS, things like that. But refer to my documentary, Welcome to Southampton, where a guy admits, this is just one of many stories, but a guy admits to coming from Kuwait, one of the richest countries in the world. And he got on a dinghy, didn't have to. And I remember he said to him, why did you do that? Shrugged his shoulders and smiled. He came over on a dinghy to get training and accommodation, everything else over here. He knew he couldn't get where he was. He came here to be a bigger fish in a smaller pond. From a rich country. So he got on a dinghy, this dangerous, perilous dinghy journey. He did it for fun. He did it because my friend who was with me filming even said to him, did you fancy a holiday? Because he thought it was funny. So this idea that people have, oh, you would only brave that if you were desperate, really? Because the people who actually done it disagree with you. The people who've actually done it think it's funny. Oh yeah, I came over because I felt like it. So this idea they're all running from war and hardship, that's a narrative made by the media that you've chose to suck in. Maybe it's true for some people, but the majority of people know what they're coming for. They know exactly what to say when they get off the boats, and they know exactly what to say because they've been primed. And a lot of them are coming here, yeah, but based on these reasons, they already know what the score is. They know far more about the law than the people here. That's the other thing about confronting these people. They know far more about the law than the people here. They're taking advantage of the political situation here. Starmer's basically also said to the world, yeah, come in here, no harm done. So people will keep coming. Starmer made sure to let everybody feel invited. So that's why they'll keep coming. So, but they ain't coming here for war reasons or refugee status. They're coming here because they can and because they know it's an open door policy. And they're coming here because this used to be a good country. Of course, everybody wants to be at the top table. The problem is when everybody gets to the top table, it's no longer the top table because it breaks under its own weight. That's what's happened. You have a top table by building it yourself in your own countries. And stop blaming everybody else around the world for it. Like Africa, everybody says, Africa, it's just a terrible country because of us. Do you know something? If you look at Africa's stats over the last 30 years, Africa's the fastest developing nation. Africa's life expectancy has doubled in the last 30 years. Africa's medicine's doubled in the last 30 years. Africa is increasing at a rate faster than Europe or any other country of a similar ilk. What we do is we have a bias in our head that remembers Africa as we saw it 30 years ago. So we don't think of a guy out ploughing his fields in the middle of Africa with an iPhone. We just don't. But that happens all the time. Africa's moving forward. It's just not a place we would prefer to be at the moment because we're still better off. But Africa is improving at a rate never seen before in any other country. But we only see the bad headlines about it. So see what I mean? So how things can be skewed? So there's so much bullshit going on. So these countries have a real opportunity to improve themselves and have a good future. And some people are doing that. They're, like I say, the life expectancy, all kinds of things are going up. Create your own top table. Same for other countries. Create your own top table. Stop killing each other. Create your own top table. If you try and get everybody at the top table in one country, especially an island like this, the table breaks for everybody. Nobody gets to sit there. And then you can all sit and say, oh, everybody's welcome here. Nobody will want to be here when this is over. Nobody will want to be here. People will be leaving en masse. Colour won't be an issue. Religion won't be an issue. All that will matter is how much it costs to get on a plane out of here, regardless of your colour. Hey, Missy Moon, great to see you. I don't care who brought them in. So, see, you don't care. You don't care. Do I want a civil conversation? What kind of question is that? I don't... in what context? When? How? What, you mean now with you? Or do you mean tomorrow? Or do you just mean that you don't like the way I'm speaking now? If you don't care. I'm not interested. So what are you talking about? My meaning is unclear. Is my meaning unclear to anybody else? How is it unclear? I've been very, very clear. Very clear. In fact, so clear that I've been worrying that I've been over-explaining things for people. I know that with lefties, you've got to over-explain things a bit more because they're a bit slow off the hook because they just think everybody's racist. So it really muddles their head when they think, oh, what if this person's not racist? Well, I'm not racist. We live on an island where they keep telling us our water's running out every year and there's not enough spaces in the NHS, for instance. Now, I'm not blaming immigrants for that, but it doesn't help. Somebody needs to take responsibility and either fix the amounts of beds or fix the amounts of immigrants, or both. They're not illegal, a lot of them are illegal immigrants, which means they jump over all of the legal ones who've applied the proper way. So all the people that have done the right thing get jumped over. Does that seem fair to you? So all of the people from other countries that have applied to come to this country have to wait whilst the illegal people are being processed. Illegal means something. Not just when you decide it means something, it means something. They've invaded the country because they didn't want to wait. They also had loads of other countries they could have gone to, but they came to this one for a specific reason. Can you imagine what that might be? Why did they not stop in France or Italy or Belgium? That would have been the easier thing rather than crossing yet another piece of water. You're not curious as to why? I think we all can work that out. And by the way, so you understand, if some people were coming from Romania in the same numbers, if people were coming from Poland in the same numbers, I'd have just the same problem. Especially if they had the effect on the communities that they're having. So yeah, I do want to have civil discussions with people who can make civil conversations. When you're doing the don't care, don't shit, then you're not being civil. So no, I don't want a conversation with you, mate, because you're not an adult. I want a conversation with some people who want to talk properly. Yeah, I do. You don't count because you've proven it. Well, you're entitled to your opinion. To the person said there's fuck all wrong with being racist. I don't need to be racist to believe that we can fix this country. I'm not a racist, and I still believe the country can be fixed by kicking out the wrong types of people. We know people from Pakistan, for instance, their country sticks to a certain set of principles that they bring over here and they've got no intentions of letting go. Put them on the ban list. You know, there's other countries that we know. It's not about their race, it's about their country's culture. They're fucking poisonous. They shouldn't be coming here. Until their countries develop or whatever. I don't care. But I don't need to be racist to do that. Maybe you do, mate. That's on you. Wrong types. You want to know what wrong types are? Rape. People who commit rape. People who fucking abuse young girls. People who fucking steal and stab people. People who attack people on trains, on undergrounds. Do you really need me to map it out for you? Do you need to know what wrong types means? Oh, or did you think I was going to talk about skin colour? You fucking single-minded, uni-minded idiot. Wrong types meaning the people that come over here with a jihad mission. Dum-dum. Dum-dum. And you want to call people British? We've got second-generation terrorists now. Are you proud of that? You've defended people so that they're now popping up babies with the original culture of Islam in their household, and they're now popping out second-generation terrorists. And you're proud of that? And they're not triggered, mate. Impassioned by idiots like you. You can say triggered all you want. You're hiding behind your keyboard. Where are you? Where's your channel? If I click on you now, how big is your channel going to be? Oh, that's right. Probably set up this year. Nobody watching you. Nobody gives a shit about what you say, mate. So you asked if I wanted to have a civil discussion. But where's your civil discussion? Where's your civil discussion? Oh, LOL triggered. Well, how is that a civil discussion? Ukrainian, yeah, same thing for Ukrainian. You're the guys that want Ukraine in this country. I don't want Ukrainians in this country. I don't give two shits about their war. So you're trying to do a gotcha. I don't give a shit. My country is in a state of trouble. So when your country is in a state of trouble, for centuries, all countries protect themselves first. Same for human beings. You cannot help your neighbour if you're sinking. If you're dying, you help yourself first. When you help yourself, you then reach out to help the next person, and so on. This stops people from dying. Or you can do what the left does, which is the drowning syndrome, where somebody sees somebody out in the water, rather than get any help, they go out to help them. They can't save them because they're not trained, so they both start drowning. Then somebody else doesn't raise help, they go out to help them, and all three of them start drowning. That's your way of doing things. That's the way you approach things. Because you're a muppet. I hear, I catch your drift. I catch your drift. So, yeah, that's true. The EU migrants have had massive. I mean, look at France. Look at France has been absolutely savaged. But look, you see the attempts, wrong types. Oh, what do you mean by that? Like, it's obvious what I mean by that, but it's supposed to be a gotcha moment, because they all they think about is race. All they think about is race. It's the biggest projection there is. They hate the white race, even though they're white. They hate the Jews. They hate all kinds of people. The hatred comes from them. For us, it's a defensive posture. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to see anybody hurt. Like, that's the truth. I truly don't. It makes me no happier to see anybody hurt or whatever. These people, under the guise of calling everybody racist, even though they're not, right, would see them burned to the ground based on the idea that they think something is true, because it suits their political narrative. They don't give a shit about human life. They don't care about the communities of the people they claim to care about. If they did, they'd stop telling them to be scared of us, because we've always invited those communities to be part of us. But those people keep telling them, oh, stay indoors, they're coming, it's dangerous for you. It's not remotely dangerous, but you keep frightening your own communities that you claim to be saving. That's disgusting, but that's what you do. You frighten the people in Southampton away from us. You frighten them because you know it's the only way. Divide and conquer. It's the only way they'll listen to idiots like you who've got no world experience. Because if you was to allow them to spend even a day with us, they'd realise, like so many other black people, Indian people, and other people have done, they've joined our ranks because they've realised they're in there with us. They realised they are part of the solution, not part of the problem. It didn't come down to colour of skin. It came down to the culture. It came down to the replacement of people. It came nothing to do with what you guys would like to simplify it down to. And that's what you do. You simplify arguments to make a simple narrative that even your own little minds can understand. This is not an episode of Scooby-Doo. This is far more complicated than that. And the fact of it is, our country's been under siege. Our country's in trouble. Monetarily, it's about to go bankrupt. And culturally, it's about to have civil war. You people are not prepared to fight it. You people on the left will be the first murdered by the people that you're protecting. And you'll expect, at that point, people like us to defend you. You say at the moment, oh, I wouldn't let you defend me if you were the last person on earth. Yeah, that's because you've never been in the situation of having your life at threat before. And see what happens when that changes. And do you know what? If people didn't help you, I wouldn't blame them. But they will, because that's the type of people we are. We actually do end up helping people anyway, because it's just who we are as a nation. We're a welcoming nation that helps people. And that's what disgusts me about people like these calling people racist and that. We're actually one of the most welcoming nations in the world. And when we finally have the audacity, after 40 odd years of being abused, to say we've had enough, we're called racist for it. No other country in the world has ever been called racist for saying enough. Ever. Just think about that. Australia, all these other countries have never ever been called racist for saying that's enough. In the past, it was considered to be a perfectly viable strategy to say we need people coming in. Now we don't. Yes, we do. No, we don't. That way, it preserves the integrity of the country, workflow, economy. All kinds of things go into that these idiots don't think about. So it's very, very important to understand how many people are coming in and out of your country, because you can control that. You can actually then have immigration that's healthy for both the immigrants and the country. It's been done for years and years and years, and it used to work until this lot got involved and just said, everyone's got a right to be here. Well, if everybody's got a right to be here, see how that works in practice. See how you get 16 billion people into one island. See if that works out for you. It won't, but you won't realise, because you'll be too busy celebrating the victory of getting 16 billion people in the country. You won't have noticed the fact that you can't sit down. Dum-dums. So I really can't answer a single question without getting upset and assuming my opinions. Well, you've espoused your opinions. You have espoused your opinions on here. So I'm also not upset, because upset would be me calling you a motherfucker, prick, wanker, cunt, telling you, that would be upset. So you can accuse me of being upset. It doesn't make it true. The people who are watching will objectively see that that's not true. I'm passionate because I believe in what I say. So that's passion. Upset would be me losing it to the point where I can no longer make a coherent argument because I'm too upset to make that argument. So you're embarrassing yourself. So your opinions are on these chats here. You've put out your opinion. I've offered you a chance to put out a sensible opinion and said, if you want a genuine discussion, yeah, okay. And what you came back with is, oh, I ain't bothering, and saying I'm triggered and saying I'm getting upset. So you've done nothing to make me want to talk to you. If I had my studio going now where I put out a link, you wouldn't be getting it. Because at the moment you're proving that you don't want a discussion. Because if you came on and you acted like this, you'd be off within 2 minutes because you've got nothing to say. All you've done is accuse me of things. You see, that's what they do. They say they've got loads to say and then they just accuse you of stuff endlessly. They don't make any claims of their own. You know? Who has an alphabet, Scott? Oh, that guy. Probably. Yeah, probably does. Probably does. Oh, sorry. Why do we have to be labelled and or... Oh, sorry about that. I just lost you there. Missy Moon. Why do we have to be labelled and or personally insulted if we do not agree and have different opinions? Because it's the only... Because if they didn't label us as racist, don't forget, this started 10, 15 years ago. It used to be a conversation stopper. So if you used to say anything against Islam or anybody else, what used to happen is they used to say, racist! And it would shut the whole conversation down. And people were so afraid of being called racist that any conversation, it could be about flower picking, as soon as someone shouted the word racist or bigot, everybody would just close down. They were scared of being called that. It ruined careers at one point. Remember the Twitter trials? So what they do is they say racist, 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 and it solves it does multiple things. One, they're not good at debates. Most of them are stick as shit because they haven't lived and they haven't read and they haven't, yeah? So what they do is they simplify the whole argument down. They call us racist because it's a bit like so let's think about the worst things you can call someone. Paedophile, racist, child molester. Well, I've said that, haven't I? Those are the worst things you can call someone. So they know the paedophile thing doesn't work because it might raise some questions of certain other demographics. So the racist and the bigot thing, that's just for using language that's conservative, yeah? So they do that to, A, hopefully smash you out the argument straight away before you've had a chance to speak. They just shout you, I mean, I've had it happen, shout you down as racist before a word has come out your mouth. They don't want people to hear what you've got to say. Whereas if you were truly racist, I personally would want everybody to hear what you've got to say. Because then you've just shown everybody that you're racist. You've done my work for me. But they don't want people to hear what we've got to say because they know that we're not racist. They know that we aren't like that, and they know that we might make some opinions and we might make some facts that other people actually gel with, regardless of their background, their ethnic minority, their colour, their religion. They may decide to agree with us. So the easiest way to avoid that, because if you look at the demos we've done more in the last couple of years, they're full of people from different ethnic backgrounds. That's a problem for them, because it shows that people are waking up. So to avoid that, just call us racist. It discredits us straight away, or it attempts to discredit us straight away. It also makes the communities afraid of us, because if they can get them to believe that we're racist, then that means that you then frighten every person of colour who believes you into thinking that we're after their blood, when we're not, never are. But again, so you've achieved two things so far. You've shut them down from saying anything, or it used to work in the past. You've discredited them, and you've made the local people frightened of them. And you've also put off your own activists from actually having a sensible discussion with them. That's why they behave so badly in the streets. Why they were prepared to throw bottles of piss at each other. At us. Because they truly believe this narrative of being racist without ever challenging it, without ever sitting down. I was talking to one guy and I said, we'll sit down over a coffee and we'll talk about all this. You can tell me if you think I'm racist when we leave. He would have done it, and it's a shame that we didn't. So, you know, now, I'm not going to read your original comment. It was already dealt with. If you want to make another comment now that basically backtracks everything you've said, whatever you want to do, I don't really care, mate. This video's not for you. But if you want to say something now, put it in the chat. I'm not scrolling back to... You think this is your show? Just write in what you got to say, or don't. I don't care, mate. Because the video goes on with or without you. Right? That's what you got to realise. You're not the star of the show. Nor am I. There is no star of the show. The show carries on regardless, mate. But you're certainly not star of it, and you certainly don't get to dictate where this goes. I'll see you tomorrow, yeah? Fucking unbelievable. Right. So Steve said it there. You tried to call me racist. You tried to call me racist. And you tried to set me up for a gotcha. And when it failed, now you want me to be all rational and kind. Oh, and please look at my comment from earlier on, and then you'll get my point. You made your point. You made your point. You attempted to do a gotcha on me. You attempted to call me racist and intolerant. You know what you did, right? It's a bit like saying, when people say, oh, you misunderstood me. Oh, so it's my fault, is it? Oh, you misrepresented my word. Oh, so it's my fault, is it? You call me a racist, but I read racist the wrong way, so it's my fault, is it? Yeah, okay. I've never encountered that kind of reverse psychology in my life. This is what you're up against, people. Be prepared for this, because you'll see a lot more of this tomorrow. You'll see a lot more of this as you deal with the left. This is what dealing with the left is like. What they don't realise is we've dealt with you a million times before. You're not new. You look at my channel now and you think, oh, I've got this guy pegged down. He's a tiny little channel. I'm going to pick on him. You didn't see my channel before, did you? That was a lot bigger. I've dealt with 1,000 of you, mate. Most of them are a lot smarter. Most of them are actually a credit to the left. You're a pretender. So I wouldn't worry about it if I was you. See, again, bit paranoid. You're then what's the word? Avoiding things. You're saying I'm straw manning. You're still not making an argument, mate. You still have not made one argument. You keep saying about, do I want to have reasonable discourse? You still have not made one argument. All you're doing is making accusations. Do you know what? I think, and if anybody in the chat disagrees with me, fair enough, I'll reconsider. I think I've given this gentleman enough of my time today for him to come up with an argument, position, or to rectify whatever he thinks that I've read wrong. I think I've given him enough typing time to do that. He's instead come back and he's kept accusing me of different things. But he's refused to actually just do anything cogent. I'm done with him. I don't want him thrown off the channel or anything, but I'm done with him. I'm not reading his stuff because he doesn't want a conversation. He just wants to accuse me and do a gotcha. He's failed, and now he's hanging on to the fact that I'm giving him attention. So no more attention. So what we got here? We got a Fox in London. Look forward to your stream tomorrow. Thank you. It will be about. Sorry about that. It will be between. What's the word? Between 12 and 1, where I go. Sorry about that. Starting time. So yeah, but thanks for that, and I look forward to having you on. Fox in London, look forward to having you on. Great to see you again, Finn. Great to see you, mate. Oh yeah, you've missed the lefty trying to do a gotcha moment with the intelligence of a well, you know, the 80 IQ intelligence. Oh, gonna do a gotcha. It's all here, mate. He's trying to do a gotcha. Timed out for 24 hours. Fine. You do whatever you think is the right thing, Steve. You know I trust you, mate. I didn't care if he got timed out or not. I didn't see what he said though, Steve. So I imagine he came back with something that was pretty, yeah. So I imagine that you did that because he did that, and that's fine. That's fine, buddy. I trust you. Like I said, I would let him carry on, but I didn't see what he was saying. But all he's done is make accusations. So, but this is the left for you. You see, this is the left, and this is what they do. And they are what I call one movers. They come on with one move. When he tried to do his got you and didn't get it, he's then desperately trying to make up for it by accusing me of things he's projecting. Oh, you're getting frustrated. No, you're the guy that's just tried to got you and failed. And this is what they do. And then when you challenge them to things, they just call you names or call you things because they haven't got answers. Remember, the left don't have a justifiable position. That is why they don't throw demos. They throw counter demos because they don't have a defensible position. Therefore, people who can't defend their position can only go on the attack. Think about that, what I'm trying to tell you. You can only go on the attack if you cannot defend your position. That's why they're always doing counter demos and no demos. Because a demo requires you to defend a position. And if your position is undefensible, that's when it's going to show the most. Indefensible, sorry. Thanks, Steve, by the way. Thanks, Steve and Dave. You were both on the ball today. Thank you. Joanne T, it's great to see you. Well, I'm talking to the left, Joanne, so I hope you're enjoying the sideshow. This guy's from the left on here. So I'm going to a demo in Southampton tomorrow. Although I love the fact that everybody in the comments makes out they're above it all, and in secret, when you have conversations with them, they slag off all the same people. That's interesting, that. So that's the only difference between me and other people, you see, is I say on here what you will only say on WhatsApp. So he tried to make a... yeah, sorry. It was, yeah, he did. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. Steve's covered that well, actually. Well, as far as politicians go, so in the future, I think that what you know, people are trying to get. There's some guy came on Vin's channel yesterday and said, the other day, and said, "Oh, I'll pay for you to join so and so party." Like, I thought that was a really dodgy thing to do. Vin would never have accepted it anyway. But the point of it was, I thought that was a really dodgy thing to do. Oh, I'll pay for it. Like, well, that's big of you. It was like trying to pull a string. I just didn't like it. I didn't like it. And yeah, I just thought that was weird. And that's not what we're about in this movement, you know. Free thinkers, free choosers. So I'm not going to be a member of any party. I tried that for Britain, UKIP, and I'm not regretting any of those decisions. But what should matter is 2029 vote. Shouldn't it? The vote is where it counts. And again, as I said to you the other day, we will need to break all records in order to get any new party into power. You've got more chance at the moment, the way things stand, of the Green Party getting into power than one of ours. That's scary. That's frightening. I would rather Reform got in than that. Do you know what I mean? That is frightening. So we really do need... The one thing that Richard and Paul have been right about is we do need to get our shit together for those next elections. What they didn't understand is that they've also been party to making that not happen. But we've got 3 years. We've got 3 years. So hopefully this will calm down, and then we can start thinking about those elections seriously. If I'm really honest with you about what I believe, Rupert said himself, he's starting this party up, he's got a lot to learn. I think that it's hard with all the bad behaviour we've seen recently, but I think they need each other in some ways, because there's a lack of quality people out there in politics. And we don't want parties full of ex-conservatives, do we? So in some ways, there's some parts of me that think they might need each other, or at least some of the people that are on each other's team. So I'm withdrawing my final conclusion about all that until the day I vote, because yeah, it's no point. You can't get into power based off of one popular leader. You've got to have a lineup of people that people know, trust, recognise, believe in. I believe when you get to that stage, you've got a real good chance. So that's the only thing I'd say both parties, and again, Rupert's just started this party up, but both parties are missing, and that is a whole lineup that you recognise instantly, and you go, that's the dream team. I think the British population are dying to see it. I think the British population would get right behind it. So I hope we get a lineup that does incorporate the best of both at some point. Because at some point, somebody's got to lower their ego and say, if we want power, we've got to do everything in our power to get it. Which means all egos dropped. Let's go for it. So that's what I'm really hoping for the future. All my troll videos and everything else, I make them because people want them. So people can make the comments that they want as it is. For every one person that complains about my video, 100 people say well done. When they stop, I'll stop. So people can call it disgust, they can call it whatever they want. The disgust should be aimed at the people that have been trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. So to be disgusted with me or anybody else, well then you really have shown yourselves to be sheep. Because there's a whole army of people now that used to support these people going, oh shit, I've been sold wolf tickets. That's anybody's natural reaction to being lied to. If your natural reaction is to double down in the defence, that's a you problem. That's not a me problem, that's a you problem. I've had to, again, be in their WhatsApp groups, be in their little hate groups, and then have them come over to my channel and attack me. And what, I'm not supposed to respond because what, I'm too small? Fuck you. I will say what I want, and I'll do what I want, because why shouldn't I? They do. The only difference is between me is I've got no backing to fall back on. There's no crowd of people there to save me. There's no crowd of people there to save my channel, and there's no fake subscribers for me to get. So when I come out here and put my neck on the line, it's my neck I'm putting on the line. When they do what they do, they're hiding behind thousands of people. So who is the coward here? Anyway, tomorrow, March 1st, between 12 and 1 I'll go live. Southampton. This is the important stuff. Forget the Richard Pauls and everything else that's going on. That's the politics side. The activism side, the part we're involved in, tomorrow. Southampton, between 12 and 1. Please be there, because we need all the support we can get if we truly want to get back on course and show the stuff that is going on in this country. And that is going to be my goal tomorrow. Not to provoke, not to, like that guy earlier on, not to get into situations like that, but to try and see what is going on and how people respond to the situation. And try not to get into arguments, because that's not what I'm there for. But again, some people won't let you out of that. So we'll see how it goes. But my job is to report. So we'll see what happens. But I will show you everything. Everything I can. Okay. Well, if he did try to have a conversation initially to that, is that Fishy Games there? I didn't see it. And bear in mind, on here, I get 1/3 of the comments come through because I'm on Prism at the moment. Prism gives you the top comments, not the live chat. So if there was any attempt by him to have a sensible conversation with me, if you're telling me the truth, I didn't see it. Thank you, Joanna. I just saw that come up there, Joanna. That's a lovely thing of you to say. Thank you. I'm not a coward. I thank you for saying that. I do appreciate that. I'm not a coward. I do try and go out on my shield. Don't always get it right, and I do try and apologise when I'm wrong, you know. But I really appreciate that, Joanna. That's nice of you. Sorry, let me just try and catch up everything I've missed and then call it a day, yeah? Because I've got some things to get on with now. Get ready for tomorrow. Did I? So let me just catch up. Yeah, Vin said he didn't accept and he's not joining any party, and I knew that's what it would be like, but I just thought it was so weird that that guy tried. Missy Moon says, still don't understand why we should join a party. Is it just financial? One, it looks good for them to say, oh, they've got a record number of people who have joined. That looks good because it shows the party's popular. But yeah, it's money to support their campaigns, which they do need, but they've also got financial backers and stuff they should go to. So it's partly about PR and it's partly about getting money coming in. You're right, Missy. You got really upset by him asking if billionaires were scamming us off. I didn't... What? Scamming us more than the migrants. I didn't even see that question. How did I get upset by that question? Did you hear me answer that question? Did you hear me read that question out? Did you hear me address that question? No, you're lying, my friend. You're lying. If that question came up, it didn't come up in my chat. And again, the proof? Wind back from the video. I never, ever talked about anything to do with billionaires because I didn't see any question about billionaires. You're lying. If he said it, I didn't see it, and I certainly didn't respond to it. Fucking... Who do you think you're trying to con? Honestly, they think we're first day candidates, don't they? So for me, again, for the next elections, I'm not going to say, oh, I'm definitely going to back Rupert Lowe, because there's 3 years between now and then. But I don't see that it's helpful calling him Rupert Lowlife when there's no evidence to support that. I think that if you love the country, I think Dave said it best. Voters need to be whores. And that is, when it comes to 2029, whoever's best for your country, you vote for. Use the politicians. But if you just refuse to take part in it all and call them all lowlives, well, then you get what you get. Then you get what you get at the end of it. And you don't get to complain about it because you didn't do anything about it. So that's fine. I'm not having a go, by the way. We've all got, like, I understand, because I'm there, of being so disillusioned with the political system, you just think, what's the fucking point? All politicians are the same. But this would be the first time for I don't even know how long that a new party would have come out of nowhere and taken power. That's a big deal, and it may be the only chance we've got in our history to break the status quo. That's worth a shot, mate. You've got to admit, it's worth the shot, because we won't get another one. We won't get another one, and whatever people want to believe, we will lose this country. We've already lost London, we've already lost Birmingham. If you want to keep it going, we've got to, I wouldn't say trust anybody, but we've got to make a choice at some point. We've got to vote for this or vote for that, or allow the status quo to continue. I do note that when you said, when I said one politician may not be bad, you knew who. That's funny. Yeah, Dave. I tell you, you'd be a fool to treat Dave as though he's stupid. Dave is anything but stupid. Probably the most underrated, and that is into his advantage. The most underrated minds on this channel. He's got it where it counts. Right. Okay, so we're all okay, are we? Okay, so as long as we're all okay about being okay, then we're okay with each other's okayness, so we can stop being gay with the okay, because the okay is not gay, it's just okay, okay? Okay, enough of the okays then, because the okays are beginning to do my fucking okay head in, because it's not okay. Okay? Okay, right. All around the world, we can make time, rubbing the stomach because I'm in my prime. Born in the north and sworn to entertain you. Because I'm down from the state of Pennsylvania. I try not to whine, but I must warn you. Bad motherfuckers down from California. Right, okay, I'll stop doing bad versions of Red Hot Chili Pepper songs. Oh no, sorry, I just forgot. No, sorry. I'm triggered and really upset by the left. Sorry guys, 1 second. I forgot, I'm really upset. I've totally miscued it. You're welcome, Dave. You're welcome, Dave. I know, Missy. I know. But that they were trying earlier on to say I was triggered rather than passionate. I'm always passionate on my podcast. And yeah, I'm feeling a bit happier at the moment. I'm feeling a bit more confident at the moment. So you're beginning to see a bit of the old Tom coming out, which is energy, passion, and a bit of messing about. Like somebody said to me yesterday, I said something about Paul Thorpe, and you got to understand, in those videos, there are some serious jibes in there, but there's also some real dry sarcasm. Like, British people aren't people that need to tell a joke and then go afterwards and congratulate themselves. We're just not like that. So if we make a dry joke, we'll leave it hanging. And people will always say to me, "Are you serious about that?" You see, and it's like, I'll leave you hanging if you don't know. Like, yeah, that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of what British humour is. It's like, I'm not going to stand and congratulate myself for making a punchline. If it's dry and you're not sure, that uncomfortableness, that's part of the British humour. That's part of the joke. So, if I say something and it's like, it sounds really off base and I keep a straight face, yeah, that's what we do in Britain. That's the way our humour works. We leave you to decide how you want to respond to it. If you respond bad, we'll laugh at that. If you get the joke and you laugh at it, we'll laugh with you. We don't care. That's British humour. That's just British humour. Glad thank you, Vin. Yeah, so thanks to Vin for that. So tomorrow, yeah, between 12 and 1 o'clock, I'll be going live. The march is at 1 in Southampton. Get my face in the camera. Tomorrow is 1 o'clock march in Southampton. And for all the jokes and the backwards and forwards and everything else, it is for a serious reason. And as I said, I've read some things out to you today. They're trying to frighten these communities into believing that we're racist. And what I really would like there's some of them obviously that are just playing up to it. But what I would like the people who genuinely believe they're horseshit to know is that we're not. And I hope that I can meet some people tomorrow that if they do have that in their heart, I'm not talking about the white leftists, I'm talking about the actual people of colour that might feel that. I hope that some of them feel a little bit more realism from just talking. Because we've got so many more people joining our movement now because they see through this horseshit. So let's just see what happens. I've got to tell her off for being mean about PT. Oh dear. I told her to do one. You'll get. They're gonna have core supporters to the end, and that's fine. But it's like I said on this morning's video, just ending the Paul Thorpe because I'm getting bored of them now. But the thing of it is, like I said this morning, an act of contrition. You know is that right? What is wrong with them coming out and saying we emotionally reacted to this? Probably a bit of a bad thing to do. Reacted the wrong way, but these are the reasons why I'm passionate about this. But I care. But yeah, said the wrong things. Wish Rupert the best in the future. No hard feelings. Let's all try and win our country back together. I think that would have been enough damage repaired to get. Let's say they've lost. Let's say of the 70% of the people they've lost, they probably would have got a good 60 to 90% of those people back just through showing that level of reading the room, self-awareness, but they chose to keep doubling down. Like, who else was down? They chose to keep doubling down. As a result, they made a clown show out of it, and people were having fun at their expense. Or they're getting angry because they're being mislabeled. So one way or the other, like, they keep doing it to themselves. And as I said, when they stop, people will stop. The interest will wear away. It's only because they keep saying stupid shit that keeps getting them in trouble. They again, I said what I said this morning. Cope. It's a major cope session. And you can see people when they're coping because they will do the mental gymnastics to make things connect, to make their story sound half believable, when it's just a case of saying, yeah, we fucked up. That easy. It's that easy. Like, just, we fucked up. Sorry, guys. That was an emotional response. That was unprofessional. Won't happen again. Like, it would have put it all to bed. And then if they had valid arguments to make, they could have come out afterwards and made their valid arguments. They chose to go down the route of drama because they thought they were untouchable. And they thought that they would be able to recover the situation just by doubling down. Well, they didn't, did they? But when a person with 340,000 subscribers comes to a channel this size and starts arguing with the people in my chat, that's not integrity. That's insecurity of a massive level. Because most channels, even with 10,000 people on, if they're getting trolled on by a channel of 500 people, fuck off. Tell me when it's somebody important. Seriously, that is how they would act. It's very, very, very insecure. And I don't understand how someone who's been on YouTube as long as he has could be so sensitive and still survive. Like, he could be living the life at the moment. If I was doing what he's doing, I'd be loving what he's doing at the moment. Seriously, like, fair play to him for where he is and everything. But he spends his time trolling through every one of our channels, arguing with people on our channels. Like, is that all you've got to do over there? I'd be making the most of that life. You're trolling through our channels, looking for any dissenting words against you so that you can silence them. It's no wonder you get the bad press, is it? Anyway. We done? Yeah, I think we're done. Right, guys, thank you for sticking with me. Between 12 and 1 p.m. tomorrow, 1 p.m. is the actual march in Southampton. I'll be going live. I'll be there. Anything goes wrong, I will let you know in terms of the live stream. But I've got 2 SIM cards, so you should get a live regardless. So we'll go live tomorrow, and we'll capture what we can, and we'll try and be as honest and as, again, non-confrontational as possible. We'll see what happens. Tom Fury, Zero News, coming a day for now. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Steve, for having my back. Thanks, Vin, for being on. And thanks to Missy and everybody else who comes on and watches. Joanna, everybody. You're all so appreciated. Really appreciated very, very much. And I appreciate that some of you have been around for a long time and you've chosen not to judge me, unlike certain other people who've been around a long time who've chosen a different path. A hill they wanted to die on. Well, that's the hill that they will die on. Thank yous to everybody else that's got an open mind, is willing to let me have as much free speech as these other people have. Because we all should have the same amount of free speech no matter where we are in the hierarchy, right, guys? That's what free speech is. I'm using mine. Tom Fury, Zero News, calling it a day for now.